All right, so today we are going to talk about the presentation softwares, right? So like all other softwares that you found in the other lessons, which is like word processing softwares, Microsoft Word, and spreadsheet software, the Microsoft Excel. Likewise, there are many different softwares that you can use to create a presentation by yourself, right? So in the very same way, uh, even the presentation software has two different categories, right? So one is the proprietary softwares and the other one is the free and open source softwares, right? Or we call it the commercial softwares when it comes to the proprietary software aspect. So the simple meaning is there are softwares we have to pay and take, or like we have to purchase, and there are softwares we can use without purchasing or without paying for it as a free product, right? So in Word and Excel, you learn that MS Word and Excel is a proprietary software which is given by the Microsoft Office. And here, even the the Microsoft PowerPoint software is also a proprietary one, right? And there are some other proprietary softwares as well. So here in this table, they have introduced you what are some of the proprietary softwares and the free and open source softwares, like Apple Keynote comes for the Apple devices, which is a proprietary software, and Corel presentations, again given by the Corel Corporation, proprietary software, and the Microsoft PowerPoint, the product that we are going to use, is again a proprietary software. On the other hand, there are free and open source softwares, which is LibreOffice Impress, OpenOffice ORG's Impress. And even if you think about the cloud services like Google Slides, they also provide you, or like they comes as a free and open source software. Like if you got an email account, the slides is enabled with you. Like you can do the presentation stuff using the Google Slides, right? So there are ups and downs, so like the benefits and disadvantages of being a proprietary one and being a free and open source one. But again, nowadays they are just coming to a place where they can compete with each other, right? So day by day, the proprietary people are trying to give more attractive features with their product, or else they are trying to release a free product which is matched with the free and open source softwares, right? However, so these are the presentation softwares that we need to know. And yeah, so it's better we write about these things, the different kinds, and about the cloud-based software that we can use. So then we can go to the fundamental of the presentation software, that means the practical part, right? So I will highlight the things for you to write down. Right, take the presentation software, the heading, and yeah, the first line is important. Please copy those two down. Yeah, Sakila, are you talking about the WhatsApp group or the Telegram? Right, great. Shakila, just send me a WhatsApp message, Uta, so I will reply to you with the link, right? So you can click the link and join Uta, right? This is my WhatsApp number.
This is delicious, Monty.
Is it?
Chocolate cake is delicious.
Okay, are we done? Can we move forward, people? Are we done here? Right, okay. So I'm moving forward. Then it's better copy down, you copy down the this entire table quickly, right? Plus I will highlight some of the lines at the bottom so you may get down that as well, right? Yeah. Take down this part as well. All right, one is done. How about others? Anyone who is still writing? Okay, Inupama. Let me know once you are done. All right, are we done? Can we move forward? All right. Okay, so now we are going to learn about the presentation software. So the software that we are going to learn is Microsoft PowerPoint. All right. So I'll go straight away and find my PowerPoint application. So here it is. So I open it. So this is Microsoft PowerPoint 2019 version, right? The version that you got in your computers can be slightly different if you are using a different version, right? But it's not going to be that different from this version. Like when it comes to the PowerPoint presentation, you can always find this blank presentation over here, which will help you to create a new presentation or help to start a very new presentation. And again, like we found in the Word and Excel, like they've given us some particular templates. Here in the presentation software, in the PowerPoint, they are providing us different kinds of themes, because they can't provide a particular template. It is because they don't know what kind of contents are going to be presented, right? So for that reason, they can't give any particular templates kind of things, but they can give different kinds of themes, which will illustrate or which will sign the audience that they are about to see something related to some particular sector, right? So as you can see, when it comes to the themes, there are educational themes, the diagram themes, business themes, infographic kind of themes. So there are different kinds that they have provided us. Even inside the PowerPoint, we got our own particular set of themes which we can use. Everyone is given the chance to use those. But when it comes to these themes, sometimes they are given for us to use without any cost. Sometimes we have to pay and purchase, right? Okay. So anyway, the one we are going to interact with is the blank presentation, right? So here comes the blank presentation. So once we click that, we can see what kind of a appearance or what kind of an interface that we are going to interact with. Ranuja, actually PowerPoint is one of the best presentation softwares that you can find in the world, right? It depends on the purpose, right? Since this is very much familiar with everyone. It seems to be most customizable one, right? Because a lot of people knows about it. Lots of people providing the feedbacks of those. So they are getting updated day by day. Yeah, definitely. This is a user-friendly one. Yes, Mesa. Lamai, sorry for that, right? Okay, so yes, Mesat, as you say, it is user friendly. So like there are several different softwares which has the same facilities, same kind of facilities. But when it comes to the cloud-based things, so, there are some limitations regarding the facilities because it is cloud-based. They are still evolving and like changing into a better product. But when it comes to the offline products, like there are many facilities. Like if you take Apple Keynote, it has different kinds of approach regarding the presentation. Both the softwares can be used to present you many different or many attractive things. And again, presentation, the beautiness, the attractiveness, the validity of the presentation majorly depends on the content and the creativity, right? So it doesn't, sometimes we feel it doesn't matter about what is the tool that we are going to use. It is the creativity that we are going to put in, which makes the presentation is much attractive, right? Okay, so if you are looked into the interface, you can see there are quick access toolbars at the top, like we saw it in the Word and the Excel, and you can see the names, and you can see the close, restore, and minimize buttons, right? And then you can see the ribbons, like we saw on the Word and Excel softwares, but there are some different ribbons. We'll come for the discussions of that, right? So it has the home ribbon. The tools are very much familiar to you, I think. Like only the slides group is the one which shows you new items. The font group has the same things. The paragraph has most of the things are same. Drawings, you have the shapes and the text boxes and all these things. Again, the stuff from the word processing software, right? So you are familiar with those things, right? We'll talk about what to be done with the slides, right? This particular group. And when it comes to the insert ribbon, again, this new slide thing is new to you. Other than that, most of the things are known by you, right? The tables, the pictures, the shapes, 3D models, that is something new. I'll show you what those. All right, then the smart arts charts, right? And these text boxes, header, footers, word arts kind of things, symbols. We know about these things. There are two new things again, videos and audios, and screen recording also there, right? So I'll let you know how these things work. And this drawing tab, it is there to do the drawings. Like it will be easier if you got some touch inputs or like a kind of a stylus to do things from that. And this design and transition, especially the design, will help you to make your presentation a very lucrative one, a very attractive one, right? So these were the themes that I was talking about earlier, right? So this is the theme pack that is given by the PowerPoint to get use of your things, right? Even you can browse for new themes as well, right? So I'll show you how, like, what can we do using these themes, right? And then the transition, it is talking about what should happen when we change from one particular slides to another particular slide, right? How that transition is going to happen, how the change in from one particular to the other particular is going to happen. That is what we are going to describe from the transition. An animation, which will allow you to animate some particular objects like text, like pictures, like clip arts, right? Like icons, like shapes. You can animate in a way. You can, like, you can't, it's like this, you can't animate them like which is like an animated cartoon, but it gives us some particular capabilities, some basic capabilities to make some animation inside this, right? And the slideshow explains how the presentation is going to go, right? And those are the things we need to talk about, right? Even though there are many more tabs over here. And again, you can search for the additional things in the presentations, because in the syllabus we have some limited stuff to discuss, right? So we discuss only those things, but this is capable of many different things, right? So you can surf and you can see how a PowerPoint can be used to represent an attractive presentation, right? Okay. So like coming down from the ribbons, you got this left side panel, which illustrates you how many slides that you have occupied in your presentation. For the moment, it's just one, right? You can have more slides onto that, right? So the selected slide will be shown over here. This is called the working area, right? So here, you can type whatever you want using some particular text boxes, right? And again, you can insert the objects like tables, like clip arts, like pictures onto this slide. Let's talk about how we are going to do that, right? And again, at the bottom, at the very bottom, you can see like there are, it shows how many slides are here. Like it shows how many pages are there in the Word, right? And what is the language. And to your right side, there are some important stuff. There is something called notes over here, right? At the very bottom, or like at the very, like on the status bar of the PowerPoint. So once I click it, you can see like click to add notes, something is here. I can expand the sector as I want. Now this notes area can be used to input some particular notes that the presenter need, right? But when you are starting the presentation, or like when you are presenting your presentation to the audience who are there to watch that, will not be see these kind of notes. It is only visible to yourself in your computer when you are presenting, right? So notes will help the presenter, that means you, if you are the person who is presenting the presentation, will help him to him or her to carry the presentation forward, some facts regarding the presentation. And people don't misunderstood that presentation is something that you could play and ask the audience to watch and learn, right? Presentation කියන්නේ එහෙම එකක් නෙවෙයි. Presentation එකක් කියන්නේ present කරන කෙනාට උදව් කරන දෙයක්, right? So we are not going to write an essay on a particular slide, right? We are just putting the points which will help us to talk, which will help us to present, right? As an example, if I'm going to introduce you or discuss regarding a motherboard of a computer, I can place a motherboard, a picture of the motherboard over here on the slide. And then when I'm discussing, I can show the things. Okay, these are the ports, these are the particular USB cables, or these are the particular, this is the place where I fix the CPU. So it will give me a help to present my particular stuff or my particular idea to you all, right? So for this moment, I am the presenter, you are the audience that is watching it, right? So presentation is something like that, right? It is not something which we use to create videos, right? We can create videos using the presentation software from this, but it is not the major purpose, right? The major purpose is to create a presentation which will help the presenter, right? Okay, so coming back to the note section, so you can type whatever you want under the note section. So later, when you are presenting, you will see this note section at the side of your presentation. It is only on your monitor or your particular device. The audience will not see that. They only see the slide, the content in the slide, right? So that is what you call the note section. So if you don't want the notes, you can minimize it by clicking and dragging it to the very bottom, right? And there are this comment section. I'll come to that later. And there are these 4 important commands right over here, which we considered as the within option, right? And I'm going to come to those things later when I'm having different kinds of slides, because it will be easier for me to show the different kinds of views when I'm having more than one slide, right? And again, one important thing, people, now when we are doing the word processing software and the Excel, I told you to have your zoom controller set to 100%, right? I think you can remember, right? Otherwise, I told you there will be some printing issues when you are trying to print the document, because it will, like, you will be doing it on a one particular percentage, but when the printer is trying to print it, it is printing as it takes 100%, right? So it can have some ups and downs. But when it comes to the PowerPoint presentation, now you can see here in the zoom controller, it indicates 64%, not the 100%. So when it is indicating 64%, then only you will be able to see the entire slide. Otherwise, you can't see the entire slide. So since we are creating a presentation, we need to have the entire picture captured in our eyes, right? So if we increase this into the 100, like we discussed earlier in the word processing software or in the Excel, for those cases, it is a must. But in here, if you expand this, you can't see the entire slide. So it will be harder for you to create or you to manage the presentation, right? So for that reason, we take our slide into a one particular screen where you can see and design it fully, right? So be sure to see entire slide when you are designing the presentation, right? Okay, people, is it clear so far? Any questions regarding this? All right. Okay, so moving forward, now let's talk about how to deal with these slides, all right? So slide is the component which will allow us to create our presentation, right? So we can have many different slides as much as we want, right? And we can arrange them as we want again, right? So how we are going to take a new slide, there are several different ways that we can take new slides. The easiest way is clicking under the current slide and pressing the enter key. So it will automatically give you a new slide, right? Clicking under a slide, right? It doesn't matter whether you are clicking at the very last slide or like in between slides, right? So whenever you can place the cursor, once you press enter, it will give you a new slide at that particular point, right? And one another thing that you can recognize here is like when the very first slide is given, you can see there are like two boxes which are text boxes, right? Which indicates click to add title and click to add subtitle. And when it comes to the next two slides, you can see like click to add title is there and a big box is there. So the layout is different. This particular layout has this kind of an arrangement, and these two has a different kind of arrangement, right? So this is called the layout of the slide, and that layout can be changed according to our requirement. So either we can have a new slide in a way we want as the layout. So how we are going to do that? We are not going to just place the cursor and press enter. If you place the cursor and press enter, we are always going to have this kind of like a slide which is on this layout. If you want to have a different kinds of layout, what we can do is we can go to the new slide over here. We can click it and we can see the different kinds of layouts over here. So the title slide is there, title and content is there, section headers, to contents, comparisons, title only, likewise there are many. So if you click on any one of these, the slide that is going to create from the selected one by you, right? So if you click on the to content, so here it comes. This slide has two contents. So title is there, one content is this side, and you can put the other content on the other side, right? And if you want another new slide, like let's say for a section break, if you got different kinds of sections, you may need a section headers. So if you click on this, so this is going to be a section header. So this is a title, this is a section header, right? So likewise, you can create a slide according to your will, right? Like using the pre-formatted layout that is given by the PowerPoint. And again, you can create a blank slide and create your own layout on it, right? That means it's like you are having a blank canvas to draw whatever you want. So likewise, you can have a blank slide, right? Once you click it, you will be having something blank. Nothing is there. Like these dotted lines are just guides, right? I can take out those guides by ticking on in front of the grid lines by taking out the tick. So no grid lines are there. So it's a blank one. These things are having some text boxes, right? So this is a blank one. So this particular blank one can be managed as we want, right? So how we are going to have the text boxes, the places where to text. You can easily go to the home. You can take a text box from here, right? In the drawing group, in here you can find a text box. So you click it, then you come here and you click and drag. So you can draw a particular text box. If you want another, click and take and draw another, right? So likewise, you can create as text boxes as much as you want on a particular slide. Even in a pre-formatted one, you can have your own text box and make the changes, right? It's like when we draw the text boxes, the border is going to go. So it's better you enable the borders of that text box, right? Accordingly, right? Otherwise, you can just use it as you want in any place you want, right? So the layout can be changed on that particular way. And again, we can change an existing layout to be or to recognize or to illustrate as another, right? Like, just think if you want to change this title slide or the layout into a different one. So you go and click on this layout command and you choose what is the layout you want. If you choose comparison, it's going to change as a comparison layout. Right? So you can change it in that particular manner. Right. So when you are going to, I'm redoing this, so I'm doing this, right? So when you need to write something on a slide, you can remember in last week we discussed like we need 32. The font size, it's better we set it as 32 or bigger, because we are going to present this to a particular audience, right? So audience will be able to see it clearly. And we talk about some color contrast as well. So it's better you use contrasting colors when you are like typing or choosing the backgrounds for the presentations, right? So here you can type whatever you want according to your requirements. So I'm going to create a presentation about the computer, right? And I'm going to say an interesting story. All right. So you can do any formatting to these particular words that we have done in the word processing software. So you just select it, you can change the colors, right? You can highlight it, you can bold it, italic, and underline it. Even you can give a shadow to this particular word, right? Here it is giving us the chance to have spacing in between the characters, right? As well as, since this is a text box, you can go for the shape format, and from there you can do any changes, or you can use a predefined particular font as per your requirement, right? If you want to have your own creation, you can use this this particular formats, and you can apply your own colors to this, right? So if you want, you can increase the size of it, right? And you can place it in a place you want, right? I can, and you can decide how the things are going to go, right? Likewise, right? So be very careful when you are using the fonts or like the text on your slide. It's better be bigger than the 32. Otherwise, audience won't be able to see it. Will not be able to see it, right? Sometimes, according to the task that you are doing, you may require to have some letters in a very smaller manner, right? That doesn't matter. But in generally, it's better you have the font size like big as 32 or like bigger than 32, right? Okay, so I'm using my next slide, which is the to content slide, to show you two particular things that we can create over here, right? So I can insert a particular table, right, straight away using this small icon on the this particular slide, or I can go to the insert and insert a table, right? Simple as that, right? Then I can place as I want that. Then I can do the adjustments, right? And if I'm going to add a particular picture, I can click on the picture icon over here, right? Then I can move to a place where I got the pictures, right? So I can insert that particular picture and I can resize it. Right? I can do any particular changes regarding the requirement that I want. So like when I'm selecting a picture or a table, it is giving us their particular new tabs, which help us to manage the properties of that particular object, right? So likewise, you can have different kinds of things, right? If you want to have a shape over here, so you can have a shape. And if you want to crop your image, you can crop the image. Yes, Risara, ආයේ ප්‍රශ්නය අහපු හොඳයි පුතේ. Physical classes ගැන කීප දෙනෙක්ම අහලක් තිබුණා. දැන් ඉන්ස්ටිටියුට් එක මේ ඩිසෙම්බර් last week එකේ නිවාඩු දෙනවා පුතේ ඔයගලන්ට. තාම ඒක officially මම කියයි. ඒක නිසා මම හිතේ තව 2 weeks විතර වගේ තියෙන්නේ ඔයගලන්ට. කියන්නේ 31st class නැහැ ඔයගලන්ට. 17th and 24th අපි online කරමු, so it will be better for everyone, right? Then by starting of the January, that means January 7th, අපි physical class commence කරමු, right? මට හිතෙනවා ඒක හොඳයි කියලා. මොකද තව සති දෙකයි දීලා ආයෙ නිවාඩු අරගෙන ආයෙ කරනවට වඩා අපි මිනිස්සුන්ට මේක ආරක්ෂිතව ගිහිල්ලා එතකොට තව risk එක ගොඩක් අඩු වෙලා, right? මට තියෙන එකම බය මේ ඉස්කෝලේ නිවාඩු දීපු වෙලාවේ කට්ටිය වටේ ගිහිල්ලා මොනවා හරි කැටලුවක් වෙයිද කියන එක. But that of course the responsibility of every one of us, right? Even though you are planning to go somewhere, wear the mask and keep the distance, people. That is the only way that we can get rid of this nasty virus, right? So then we'll commence the class by 7th, right? Let's hope and pray not to have it then after, right? Yeah, in Upama, like I won't be able to conduct an online and offline class on the same time. And again, I really don't have a separate time to conduct an online class. But I have one particular solution. For that, of course, I have to discuss with the institute and then let you know what kind of a solution that I can give to you, right? So I'll talk to that as well. Like from the replies that I saw in the group as well, I got the feeling that some are there to do the online class, like they like to continue the online class, but definitely it's going to be on a different time slot if it's going to be there. And then of course, to give a word regarding that, first I need to discuss with the institute regarding how the things are going to happen, right? So then I'll let you have the message, how that thing is going to go, right? Okay, so anyway, in the summarized manner, we are going to start the physical classes by January, right? So I hope to see you all there, right? And I hope and pray there won't be any corona or the risk may be mitigated, right? So let's see, right? So for these 2 weeks, the rest of the 2 weeks, we'll do it online as usual, right? Okay. So yes, so as I told you before, we can use these kind of objects. If you want to have a shape, you can have a shape over here as well, right? So any particular thing, right? So shape, a picture, a table, even a smart art. Yes, Dihan, January 7th තමයි අපි ඒතකොට plan කරලා තියෙන්නේ. Grade 11, you mean your grade 11, right? දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැන් 10 කියන්නේ ඔයගලන්ගේ 11 ගැන නේද කතා කරන්නේ? Yes. So it happens on the same day, right? So we are there to finish the database lesson, right? So I won't think we will be able to finish it before the December ends. දැන් අද 10 වෙනිදානේ, right? So most probably like in first 2 weeks of the January, we will be able to finish the database lesson. Then we are going to the grade level part, right? Okay, so I think it won't be a matter for you all, like since your third term is going to last until the March ends, right? So let's see people, right? Okay, so you can have any kinds of objects onto your slide in this manner, and when you are using the design tab, you will be able to give a very nice background to your presentation, right? No. Dihan physical එක වෙලාවටම online එකක් නෑ පුතේ. online එකක් ආවොත් ඒක එන්නේ වෙන වෙලාවකට. right? Physical එක තියෙන්නේ මේ වෙලාවටම තමයි. right? මොකද අපි physical time එකනේ online අරගෙන තියෙන්නේ. right? Okay. Right. So how we are going to use these particular designs, right? So these particular designs can be used and yeah, Dihan, I'll answer the questions after the session, Puta, right? So you just stay and ask, right? So we can use any kind of background, and when you are using the background, it's better you find something attractive and which is matched to your task, right? Don't take the most beautiful one or the most favorable one of yours. Maybe your most favorable one is not the best match to your presentation, right? ඒක නිසා ඔයාගේ presentation එකට ගැලපෙන එකක් නේද? audience එකට ඔයා කියන දේ බොහොම ලස්සනට convey කරගන්න පුළුවන් එකක් තමයි ඔයා match කරගන්න ඕනේ, right? So once you choose some particular design, that particular design will be applied to the entire presentation, right? So if I choose this, it is applied to all the slides which I have taken here, right? So it's better you choose something according to your interest and according to your idea, right? So if you put things on a correct way, it will be a very nice and easy one when it comes to there, right? So there are different kinds of backgrounds, so you can choose at your will. And please remember what I have told you, right? It's better you choose something related to your presentation content, right? So I'll choose this as my background only for today, right? So I can have these kind of objects over here, right? As I told you before. And if you want to have your own background, the themes වල තියෙන එකක් නැතුව ඔයාගේම එකක් අරගන්න ඕනේ නම්, right? You can have that kind of one as well, right? So to do that, what you have to do is you have to click this format background, and you have to choose picture and texture field, and then you have to click on insert. Then it will ask you to choose a file. So you go to your computer and you just choose a background, right? So for the moment, I'll give a background, something like this, right? Then I can press insert. Yeah, Dilni, if you want to do it in that particular manner, you need to go on the way that I'm telling you now. එතකොට එක slide එකෙන් slide එකට එක එක pictures ගන්න ඕන නම් you have to import each and every picture to your slide, because when you are using a design, that design applies to the entire presentation, right? Otherwise you have to import pictures one by one. So you go to the next slide and you insert a different one, right, from here. Now if I let me take another background. Yeah, if I get this and say insert, so it is like this, right? So likewise you have to take the particular backgrounds one after the other, right? And sometimes if you surf in the internet, you will be able to find a particular theme which has different backgrounds from slide to slide, right? Sometimes I think there will be things like that, right? But I have never tried, right? It's just pop into my mind. It can be something like that as well. But it's kind of a rare, right? So yeah, so I'll get rid of the backgrounds that I have insert over here, right? Okay, so that is the way that you are going to deal with your background of the presentation, right? Then you, like I told you, since you can take a lot of objects onto your slide, you can apply the formatting part for those objects by selecting those. So once you select this particular picture, so it gives you the chance to do the picture formats. So you can give a frame, right? You can use a different color, right? Or you can do the corrections, different kinds things can be done, right? And the beautiful part of this is we can animate the objects as we want, right? So to do that, I'll take something interesting over here. I'll insert a 3D model, right? So there are different kinds of 3D models over here. So what I'm going to insert, let's insert something from what, origami? No. Let's have something from cats and dogs. All right. Which one we are going to? In the previous class, I tried this. So I would like to try something else. Okay. Yeah, I'll have this one. And put insert. So here comes my 3D model. So my 3D model, I can turn him in several different ways, right? And this is also kind of an object which is similar to these things, right? The shapes, pictures, tables, likewise, there are 3D models, right? So for any kind of object, we can apply an animation to these things, right? Now, when it comes to the animations, now animations are there in the animation ribbon. Now, when it comes to the animation, there are 3 major types of animations. One particular animation which are indicated in green color gives you the animation to enter into this slide, right? So when the slide is being loaded on the screen, you won't see nothing. You won't see the object, particular object, which is applied with the entrance animation. Once you click the mouse, you will see that particular object is entering or like appearing on the slide. So we call those things entrance animation. And once it has been entered, it can do certain things on the slide. So we call it emphasized animations, which indicates by the yellow color, right? So then that particular object can have an animation to exit the slide. So that means it can disappear like it is having an animation, right? So there is something called these motion paths. I'll come to those things later. So first of all, I'm going to show you how the entrance, emphasizing part, and exiting thing can be applied into a one particular object. So there is no rule that you have to apply all three kinds of animation onto to your particular object. You can choose anything that you want, right? So it will act accordingly. And again, it's not only one particular animation that you can apply to the particular object. You can add as many as you want, right? So it will act accordingly, right? So now here, since this is a 3D object, it has some particular animation regarding the 3D objects, right? It won't be, these things won't be there for the 2D objects or the other objects. Since this is a 3D one, these things are there for the application of the 3D object. So it has one entrance animation, 3 emphasizing animation, and 1 exiting animation. Now, how we are going to apply this animation? It's very simple. You click on the object, you choose what is the animation you want. So I'll take this arrive thing. So here it arrives, right? And you can see, once you are given an animation, you can see an indicator of that particular animation. So with that, we can have the idea, okay, there is a one particular animation which is applied to this particular object, right? Then we can see the details of this animation by using this animation pane, right? Once I click that, so this animation pane appears, right? So here, now if I want to add another animation to this dog, if I going to do that by clicking on the object and by clicking on a different animation, that going to give me a problem, right? Why? Now, can you see this jump and turn is the one which is been applied. Now, arrive one has gone. Arrive one has gone. This animation has replaced from the jump and turn animation. So if you want to add an animation, what you are going to do is you have to use this add animation button. So once you click that, you will see the same amount of animations is listed over here as well, right? So what I'm going to do is I have applied this arrival animation to this dog. So I'm going to apply another animation which is jump and turn, right? Now you can see there are 2 animations over here. First one is the entrance one, second one is the emphasizing one. People, just a second. Right. Sorry for that, people. So, so I have add two particular animations. Now I'm going to add another, which is a exiting one. So add animation again, and I'm choosing leave. And don't just click here and go and click here, people. Huh? It's going to do two particular things, right? You are under the add animation, you are going to click on the leave. So it's been applied. Now you can see in the animation pane, there are three particular animations being applied to this particular dog. Now let's see how this works. Now you can see how it is working using the preview button at the very left in your screen, right? So here's the entrance, here's the emphasize, and here's the leaving. Or else if you want to see it on a bigger screen, or like the way that is going to happen on the presentation, you can choose this slide show view over here, right? So once you click that, you will see this empty slide on your presentation. Now remember, the animations that we have applied are going to work according to the mouse click, right? So once I click, if I click once, it will appear. If I click again, it will jump. If I click again, it's going to disappear, right? So you can exit from the presentation view at any moment you want by pressing the escape button, right? So like I told you, these animations are working according to the mouse click. But if we want to change that particular nature, we can change it using this start, but like using the drop down, which is like at the right side of the start, right over here, right? So once you select the animation, it says it starts on click. If you select this particular one, the yellow color one, still it start on click. If you select the red one, still it is start on click. Now, if I want, I can change my yellow color, or like emphasizing animation, change it as start with previous. That means start with the previous one. So once the entrance happens, at the same time, emphasizing is happening. So yeah, slide එකට එන අතරෙම උඩ පයින්නවා, right? Then the next one, I can choose after previous. So once these two happens, once the previous ones happens, then only it is going to happen, right? So when the situation is like this, if I run the presentation, now I'm just going to do one single click. I'm not going to do 3 clicks like I did previously. I'm just going to do one click, so it entrance and emphasize and exits quickly, right? If the animations run in so fast, you can change the timeline, right? Or the duration of a particular animation by selecting the particular animation and changing the duration right over here, right? If we increase the duration into 2 seconds, and this for 3 seconds, and this for 1.5. So now it will happen in much slower manner than the previous time. So here we go. I'm giving a single click. So it appears, it jumps, it disappears, right? So you can control the time likewise, as well as you can delay some components, right? Now, if you want to delay the emphasizing part, like now it is starting together. No? So if I delay this by 1 second, so entrance will be started. After 1 second, the emphasizing part is going to start. Still it is happening with the previous one, but with a delay, right? So I'm going to play it. So here it enters. Now it's jumping. Now it is exiting. Okay, people, is that clear?
Yes.
Right, okay, great. Okay. So that is the way that you are going to apply the animations. So again, animations can be applied as much as you want, right? And again, you can apply the animation to any particular object you want. Now, under the animation menu, we had something called motion paths, right? So now I'm going to show you what can be done by using the motion paths. Right, to do that, I'm going to have a new picture. So I've got this basketball with me. Yeah. So I'm getting this basketball. I'm resizing it and I'm placing it over here. Right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a motion path. How I'm going to apply a motion path? I select my basketball. I go to the animation ribbon, and from the animations menu, I'm going to select one of these things. So it has different kinds of motion path, right? So motion path means it's going to show you a motion according to a predefined path, right? So it has lines, arcs, turns, and all these things. I'm going to use an arc. So once I apply the arc, it has its default way. So it applied to the ball. That's why the ball was moving on that particular manner. Now, if I want, I can change the motion, right? So I need to have the motion in this manner. Like I want to see that ball is going to go higher and like landing on a one particular place. So I'm going to expand my motion, right? So let's see how this happens. If I search for the preview, here it goes. If it is 2 speed, I can control my motion by turning this 2 seconds into 4 seconds. Right, so now it will happen in much slower manner. Look at this, smoothly, likewise. Right, so when it comes to the arcs, lines, turns, and all these things, those are predefined paths. Here you got something called custom path, where you can define a custom movement, or like a movement that you want to have to the board. Right, so let's try that as well. I'm going to take the same basketball over here. I'll resize it. And I'm going to place it over here at the top. And I'm going to insert an animation. So I'm going to animations, choosing the motion path, and I'm choosing custom path over here. So I started from here, and I'm going to draw what happens to this ball. So I want to see that ball is bouncing on the floor and ending its journey. Yes, likewise. Right, so you can see, and could you recognize, like when I'm applying a particular motion path, it has its starting point right over here, indicating from a green green triangle, and the place where I'm going to stop, it has a red triangle. So if I want, I can adjust my motion path, right, and see how the things are going to happen. I'm going to increase its value for 5 seconds. let's see how the motion is going to happen. So here I'm going to click. There you go. So if you could match, or if you could draw the lines to indicate that ball is bouncing actually, right? So you will be see a very smooth bouncing on the screen, right? So that is the thing that we can do using the motion part. All right, so we talked about the backgrounds, we talk about the letter typing and all these things. We talk about taking the objects onto this slide, and we talk about the animations, right? Now I'm going to show you what can we do to the slides when we are going from one particular slides to another. Now, if I start this particular presentation from the beginning, right? I can click the very first slide and click this slideshow button right over here, right? Otherwise, I can go to the slideshow tab and I can say start from beginning. So it doesn't matter which slide that you are in. If you click this, the slideshow will start from the very first slide, right? Even the key F5 will help you to do the same thing. Right now, if I start my presentation, this is how it's going to be, and it won't move to the next slide until I am giving a mouse click. So once I click my mouse, it will move to the next slide. Once I click again, it will move to the next slide. So likewise, click by click, it's going to show you the components or the slides that you got. Right, so even my animations are there to be done due to a mouse click. Right, so once my slides are done, it will give me this black screen, so I can press escape button to end my presentation. But in my presentation, when I'm moving from one slide to another, it's just a row jump. එකකින් එකපාරට අනිත් එකට ටොප් කරලා පයින්නවා නේද? අමුවෙන්ම පයින්නවා කියලා අපි කියනවා. So it's better we have some transitions from one particular slide to another particular slide, right? How we are going to apply transitions? This is the way you are going to apply a transition. So to do a transition, you have to go to the transition tab. Then in here, transition to this slide is there with several different transitions, right? You can choose whatever you want and see how the things are going to happen. So if I like choose this random bar, so it's going to transit likewise, right? Bars ටිකක් ඇවිල්ලා එක change වෙනවා කියලා තමයි පෙන්නන්නේ. Look at this. See? Right, so once you apply a particular transition to a particular slide, then you can apply those transition to all by clicking on the apply to all, or else you can choose the slides individually and you can apply different kinds of transitions, right? Here I am doing split in one. And here I take the drape, and here I'll do the curtains likewise, and here I'll give some different one like rotate, right? Actually, since it has a ball, rotation won't show you clearly. Right. I'll apply rotate to here, so you will be able to see it clearly what's going on. Yeah, likewise, it's going to happen. right? So if I play my presentation, here comes the bars. So it turns, it drapes. Here comes the curtains. Yeah, those kind of things are going to happen. So that is what you call the transition, setting the transition. And finally, I'm going to show you how to take a video and an audio to these particular things. So I can insert a sound or a video. I can insert a video clearly using this particular icon, or you can go to the insert and click on the video, and you can say, I'm going to insert a video from this device. So you have to find your video. Fortunately, I got a video over here. So once I click this and press insert, it will allow over here. And I can resize my image, not my image, resize my video as I want, right? So I can place it, right? So you can see whether it is working by pressing this play button.
ENIAC was 1,000 times faster than any other calculating.
So it is working, right? So when you are doing the presentation, when you are here with a player, you only need to play the play button,
ENIAC
hit the
was
play button.
1,000 times faster
So it is
than
working.
any other calculating machine ever built. It could do the work of.
Right. So that is how we are going to insert a video. And when it comes to the video, it has video formats, right? And the playback options, right? So video formats will give you the chance to decorate the video. If you want, you can have some particular frames and all these things, right? You can change the colors if you want, right? Those kind of things can be done, right? Regarding the playback, the important part is like the fade in and fade out, right? Fade in and fade out is there to control how to enter or how to start a particular one and how to end a particular one, right? A video, the sound එක හිමීට පටන් අරගෙන යනවා ඊට පස්සේ ආය අන්තිම වෙනකොට හිමීට අඩු වෙලා නැති වෙනවා. That is what you call fade in and fade out. Fade in is given at the entrance, fade out is given at the exit, right? So if you want, you can click this and take your particular video full screen, appear in full screen. So likewise, you can have that. Now, if you want to add a particular audio, you can do the same thing, right? You can go to the insert, click on the audio and audio from my PC. So I'm selecting this particular audio file and press enter. So once you press enter, you can see there is a small audio icon on the slide. Yeah, Ranuja, I'll come to that. Hold on. Right. So once I play my presentation, I can see this icon. So once I come there and click it, then it is going to start. Right. So this will be suitable for some particular music that you are going to hear from one particular slide. But if you want to have this sound as a background music, you can make that as a background music. So play in background, I can say, right? So see what happens once I start my presentation. So it automatically starts playing the particular thing, right? And if I start this from the beginning, there is no sound in there. So if you want to play the sound from the beginning, presentation background music, you have to insert this audio at the very first slide, right? Go to insert, go to audio. Then you are taking this slide insert and you have to say plain background. Right now, I start the presentation. Here the music starts. So if I change my slide, music does not stop. It keeps playing. Right? So in case if he stops with the particular presentation, then only the music is going to stop. And again, if you are going to use a background music, be careful with the music when you are having this kind of a video, because those two things can be interfered. Right? So once the presentation is done, then only the music is going to stop. Okay, so I'm going to end the session from that particular point. So I hope every one of you get an idea about the presentation, and there are a few more things to be done. So we are going to end those things by next week. And plus we are going to start the next lesson, which is the database, right? So be prepared, people. I'm going to end the PowerPoint by next week. There are a few more things that you need to see. Then after, I'm moving to the database lesson. All right, so have a very good night, people, and thank you very much for staying. And I'll see you all next week for the very same time. And people who have the questions, you can wait. I will answer those things. And others, thank you very much and have a very good night.